Get away from me. Had a fly just flew by my face. Good morning, y'all. Good to see you. Hope everyone's starting their weekend off well. Good to be back. We had to take yesterday off, so always get a little antsy when we have to do that. Glad to be back in the saddle. Got to figure out how to turn the alarm on my watch off, but we'll figure that out. So we'll let everybody pile in here. Today, we're going to cover a little story about the Karankawa, which we've talked a little bit about and really haven't covered in any real depth or any of their engagements in early Texas history. So we're going to talk about that. The early settlers of Austin's colony, way down, well, pretty far down in Southeast Texas. What's up, Happy Cappy? What's up, Artemio Moore, Space Cowboy, Marcus Aurelius? Artemio Moore. Cool. Good to see everybody, man. Glad you guys could be here for Saturday morning. So were the Seminoles mainly Afro-Indigenous tribe? No, they were their own autonomous tribe, and then they were so far in the Southeast that escaped slaves would flee where they were living and go to the Seminoles. It was they were, I don't want to say an escape route, but they were a safe haven for many escaped slaves. It was an unfortunate chapter. But yes, the eventually they did kind of melded those two cultures together. Evan, what's up, man? Glad to see you. We're just letting everybody kind of pile in. It's, I don't know, for a Saturday morning, it's early. Ain't got no place else to go, says Space Cowboy. Well, glad you picked to be here, Space Cowboy. What are y'all up to on a Saturday? Anybody got any chores or soccer games or other sports? Sorry, guys, I'm just not. Look, I respect the hell out of soccer, right? But I didn't grow up with it. It's a little rough for me to digest. I'm going to try to get into it. But what movie? Anyone? I got no place else to go. Officer and a Gentleman. Let's see. I think, right? That's what Richard Gere says. I got no place else to go. He tells Louis Gossett Jr. And Louis Gossett Jr. is like, okay, well, you can stay here. I don't know how I always get this mic screen messed up. All right. So today's story, we're still, we're giving people time to run in here. But we're going to be re-examining Indian depredations in Texas. I think it's a book you can dive into anytime. I'm a big fan of it because we say, or the official stance here is that you can pick it up anytime, read one story and go about your day. Sometimes they don't make for great 10, 15, 20, 25-minute episodes, but they're really good short stories. So today we're going to be talking about John White and Captain Burnham heading down the Colorado River and encountering a group of Carankawas who attempt to take them hostage. And then it all kind of devolves from there. James Skywalker, Bama Deanna, glad you guys made it. Elite Super Grunt, what's up, guys? Bama Deanna, we've been missing you. We didn't see you, I think, on our last stream. So glad you're back. Billy Bob Bry, what's up, guys? We're just letting all the regulars pile in here. We'll give it another couple minutes here. It's early on a Saturday, so I want to give everybody time. Let's see. I think we got caught up with everybody. So I think you guys will enjoy this story. It's one we haven't really covered, the Karankawa tribe. Really haven't covered this area of Texas or this time period. This is a little earlier than even we normally dive into. About to head out to our ranch in Coryell County. Nice. Central Texas. Beautiful out there. We have found arrowheads from the Paleo period to Comanche times and a log cabin. Really? Did some archaeology there for grad school, says James Skywalker. Cool, man. You guys found a log cabin? Very cool. I've been missing everyone too. Oh, glad you're back, Bama Deanna. We've been missing you too. James Skywalker, that's really cool, man. Glad we have all the regulars back in here. We got James Skywalker, Bama Deanna, Billy Bob, Plowboy. What's up, Plowboy? I think you're just getting in here. What's up, man? What is it, like noon for you out there in Pennsylvania? Let's see. We got all the chat greeting each other. Love it. Love it. We're building our own little HOKC nation here. Let's see. Was I right about that? Oh, I was right about the quote. Space Cowboy says, that is an officer and a gentleman. I've been helping my aunt who is 90 and had 3 surgeries in a week. Oh, well, God bless her and God bless you. That's an awesome thing to do. And that's a lot of people don't do that. So I'm glad you're taking care of yours. It's lunchtime, says Pennsylvania Plowboy. Well, grab a sandwich, man, and hunker down. What kind of sandwiches y'all got in Pennsylvania? Yeah, the log cabin is from the 1800s, but they built a modern home around it. Okay. So when they were tearing it down, they found the log cabin. Wow. That's cool, man. Probably some crazy stuff happened in that log cabin at one point or another. You should do the Timbisha next time. That's not ringing a bell for me. So let me write that down. Got to turn the page in the live chat notebook here. Timbisha. I do not know that name. Maybe it'll ring a bell when I look it up. Let's see. And so I almost said tonight. This morning, we're going to be diving into, if you're just getting here, we're going to dive into a very early Texas history story. It's far more southeast than we've covered before. And yeah, I think we'll hit some topics that we haven't hit before. Let's see. They are, I think, related to the Shoshone and the Comanche. I've never heard of them. I will look them up, Artemio. And let's see. What else is unique about today? The Karankawa, obviously. We're going to talk about the Karankawa's culture, their homelands, the treaty that resulted from today's story, and the early Austin settlements and kind of how Texas settlement got its genesis, got its start, at least in the American context, as far as Anglo settlers coming in from the American side. Because at this point, we're going to talk about 18, I believe it's 23. Let me double check. 1824. Texas is still Mexico. So all of these events happened under the auspices of Mexican government being in charge. And none of the Texan settlers we're going to talk about are actually technically Texians of their own making yet. That's going to be about a decade, about 12 years in the future. So right now, all of these people are Mexican citizens. The condition for their being in Mexico and becoming a Mexican citizen is a conversion to Catholicism. So there's a lot of big cultural changes all happening for Texian settlers, local tribes, the Mexican government, all at once. So this is a very fluid and impactful time. Arizona boy, we've been waiting on you, man. What's up? Good to see you. What is it? 10 o'clock where you are? Be right back, y'all. Says Happy Cappy. No hurry, no hurry. We still got a couple minutes. We'll go till 10 minutes and then we'll jump into the story. Howdy, y'all. What's up, Dan Robertson, man? We've been waiting to see you. We've been talking about you, actually. Well, I was almost going to send you an email, but I didn't want to push it too hard. I thought, well, maybe you're busy, but been getting borderline worried, man. Glad you're back. Let's see. 10 a.m. says Arizona boy. I like Arizona. They don't change times. Oh, busy, says Dan Robinson. Never a problem, man. Never a problem. We totally get it. Cheeks, what's up, man? The best YouTube handle in the game, dude. Glad to have. We haven't seen you in a while either. Billy Bob Bry says it's 5 p.m. here. I would have guessed that by now, though. I know GMT is 6 hours ahead of our beloved Central Standard Time here in Texas. It's 9 a.m. says Artemio Moreno. Oh yeah, you're in the West Coast. Yeah, duh. My bad. I was having to think about that for a second. Let's see. I don't think I'm missing anyone. And if you haven't already, I'll go check out our little known battles of the Comanche that came out on Thursday. I think all of you guys will like it. Let's see. Perfect thing to listen to at work. Thanks. Absolutely. That's why we do these. To give you guys the more content we can give the American working man or the working man anywhere in the world. That's what the goal is. Arizona doesn't change times, Bama Deanna says. Arizona does not. They are stalwarts on not changing the time. And I went to school in Arizona online, so that made it tough sometimes because the rest of the country is switching all over the place, and Arizona stays with one thing, which I admire. What's up, Comic Dog? Good to see you, man. Clay Owen says BJJ versus wrestling. Oh, you're trying to really start things off hot today. Hey man, it depends on what the rules of the game are. If it's a takedown, if it's on the feet, wrestlers. If it's on the ground, the jiu-jitsu guys will catch you. I've done a good amount of that, going against BJJ guys, and hey man, wrestlers get on the ground and we're good at taking you down, but sometimes you get down there and you're like, well, what are we going to do now? And the BJJ guys have an answer for that. So just depends on the rule set, man. I thought Texas also didn't change times. No, I wish, but we do not. I believe, man, El Paso might actually be in a different time zone, but I'm not sure about that. Let's see. I didn't know that Arizona didn't change times either before I started going to school there, and that caused a little consternation on my part. Let's see. I think we're caught up. Just wanted to add. Oh, Arizona boy. My second video. Yeah, dude, I was just looking at your first video. I was just looking a couple minutes ago. I didn't see the second one drop yet. But Arizona Boy has another video out on his channel. Dude, what is the name of it? I have it pulled up here. Echoes of Us. Is that right, Arizona Boy? I believe it is. Excellent job so far, man. You got 55 views, I think. I just checked. 55 views, I think, in 2 or 3 days, which is like, bro, I wish I would have got that when I started. I don't want to say the K word, right? But I would have not literally, figuratively unalived for that. Oh, Echoes of Us. Yeah, go check out Echoes of Us. If I open another tab right now, it might screw up my stream. I'm really on the edge, but before we get out of here, I'll post it again. I'll post Arizona Boys link at the top of the chat. Echoes of Us, Bamadiana. It's really good so far. I mean, it's really good. You're off to a better start than I was, Arizona Boy. Cool interaction this morning, says Dan Robertson. Hand fed an old snapping turtle that was obviously domesticated to this act. It is in Cluck Creek. The frontier family of Cedar Park was likely responsible. Really? That's wild, man. That's I knew they had snapping turtles around here, but I guess really seeing a firsthand account makes me even more nervous. I don't want to wade around in rivers where there's snapping turtles, you know? Bamadiana says, I will check out Arizona Boys channel. Do. Yeah, it's excellent work so far. I think you got big things in your future, Arizona Boy. I watched both episodes, Arizona. Awesome, man. That's if we can leverage y'all to help Arizona Boy out. It's I wouldn't promote it if it wasn't a good channel. So it's not just because he's our boy, it's because he's doing good work. Okay, so before I lose my own track of thought here, we're gonna dive into another story from Indian depredations in Texas. You know what? I'm gonna post Arizona Boy. I'm gonna post your channel at the end here, but let me post the book just in case people have never heard of it. If you've never heard of this book, highly recommend it. It's really mandatory reading if you're a fan of the Old West or Texas history or any of that kind of thing. So I'm gonna post this in the chat right now. It'll be linked at the top, and you can purchase it if you'd like to. Like I've said before, very, very easy reading. It's, I don't know, 2, 3 pages per chapter per story. If you get a 5-page story, it's a pretty long chapter. Jake Skywalker says, we started seeing gators in Waco this year. Bro, I don't know. I don't like that. What year is that, HOKC? What are you talking about, Artemio? Let's see. Let me scan the chat before I dive into it. Clay Owen says wrestlers are tough as nails for sure. They are, yeah, man. That's probably I don't know, maybe the toughest sport. It's very, very tough. Let's see. A colleague of mine found a multi-notch point. Really? A specimen of a lifetime in Walnut Creek, Northwest Austin. We just talked about Walnut Creek on an episode or a live stream, I think 2 days ago. Northwest Austin. Yeah, the Rangers got in an engagement with the Comanche on Walnut Creek. They kind of engaged the Comanche southwest downtown Austin, and then they kept this running fight going all the way up to Walnut Creek, which is a good little ways. That would take you all day. Howdy, says Terry R. Just listening while I drive. Oh, welcome in, welcome in. Eyes on the road now. Eyes on the road. HOKC, you a man of the people. We try, man. So that's the whole goal. The topic, what's the year of the topic? I got you, Artemio Moore. I'm going to tell you right now. So everything, our story starts in 1824. That's like I was saying, it's still Mexico. Texas is still Mexico. And in 1821, a couple years prior to this, Moses Austin, who is the father of the famed Stephen F. Austin, had brought a whole contingent of settlers to, I believe it's Matagorda Bay. Yeah, I think it's Matagorda Bay, or I'm pretty sure it's Matagorda Bay. Sometimes these locations are hard to. Uh, oh, it's on the Texas coast. So I got a lot of stuff, a lot of details of this rolling through my head. Texas coast, so right. They start making their way up the Colorado River with settlements over the next couple of years, from 1821 to 1824. I have the map brought up here. Yeah, here's the original Austin settlement. Let me bring up one of our famous maps here. So this is where we're talking about. Right here, they started in Matagorda Bay and started working their way northwest up the Colorado River, which is here, and the San Felipe River, which is here. Oh, wait. San Antonio River, which is here. Sorry, I'm getting the rivers mixed up. I gotta look at the actual river names, guys. I've only been researching this story for about 6 hours, so it takes me a minute here. Okay. So right here is where we're starting. And our main character today, Mr. John White. It says he is settled on the Colorado River, but it doesn't really say exactly where. So what I'm kind of surmising is he's somewhere. Let me see if I can bring the right map up. This should work. This we'll go back to the colony map. So John White is somewhere in this vicinity on the Colorado River, but it doesn't say where. It sounds like he's kind of in the northwest reaches of Austin's colony area here. So he and it just says two Mexican men. It doesn't really give a whole lot more detail than that. But they are taking a yawl, which I had to go look that up. But they're taking a yawl, which is a two-sailed little river boat looking thing. I'll bring up a picture in a second, but they go from here and they're heading down to the bay here with a load of corn, and they're gonna trade it and sell it for goods at the uh, what is it? What is that? Like the bay here, the mouth of the river, but it's a like a trading post at the mouth of the river. So they're heading down. They're heading southeast down the river. Let me bring up a picture of a yawl for you guys so you can see what they're traveling in. Because I had to look this up. I never heard of a yawl. Who the hell has heard of a yawl? So this is a yawl. YAWL. It's a kind of flat bottomed boat with two sails on it. And if you're a sailing expert, I mean, call me out. That's totally fine. My sailing knowledge is limited, but so you have some kind of idea of what they're traveling in. That's like a relatively sizable boat for the Colorado River, but I guess if you're hauling corn, it makes sense. So the guys are heading down the Colorado River to the mouth of the river in Matagorda Bay. And it seems like several miles, it must be more than 10 because they make reference to something else happening 10 miles away. So more than 10 miles away from the mouth of the river, somewhere in between the southeast corner of the Austin colonies and the actual mouth of the Colorado River, these three guys are ambushed on either side of the river by a group of Karankawa. And the Karankawa, especially in 1820, are still a pretty powerful tribe down in southeast Texas. Their homelands are really, I'm trying to bring, I know I got a lot of maps, but I think it helps to conceptualize where we're talking about here. Here we go. So the Karankawa are the rulers of this area here. So you can see it's southwest Texas, and the river we're talking about is the Colorado River right here. So somewhere in here is where our engagement happened, and the Karankawa holds sway over everything from Galveston Island all the way down to Corpus Christi. So this whole southeastern stretch of Texas shoreline belongs to them. The little colony that we've started is right here. No, wait, it's right there, but we're headed to the trading post right here. So as the men are making their way down the river, they're ambushed by a band of Karankawa on either side of the river, and they're taken hostage. White says, listen, bros, like, how about we got all this corn. You don't want to just steal the corn. How about I take this boat down the river? Y'all hold on to my buddies here, and I'll go trade for it and bring the goods back to you. And then you can take, the better stuff, not just the corn. So the Karankawa are like, all right, like that sounds like a deal. So you take the yawl by yourself down to the trading post. We'll stay here with the two bros that we've stolen from you. Then when you're coming back, get off the boat and set the prairie on fire 10 miles away. That way we'll know you're coming. It's like people think, oh, there were never wildfires. People back in the day the tribes would never set fire to the prairie or do anything like that. They set fire to the prairie all the time. They understood burning and regrowing patches of land and all that good stuff like we do today. Still, though, that's a big fire. They say start it 10 miles out, and that way we'll know you're coming, and then we'll make the trade, and we'll for sure let you guys go. It's a little sus if they will or not. White feels the same way. He says, like, I don't trust these guys. So he goes into the settlement, and of course, while he's making his trades, he mentions this to the local It's not rangers yet. Like the rangers haven't really been stood up, but a local volunteer force. And the volunteer force is like, okay, well, bro, we'll go handle this. Oh, we have a super chat came in. I just saw this. Oh, it won't open the window up for me. I'm trying to see the super chat that came in. Give me 1 second here. $2 super chat from Bama Deanna. Maybe a cup of coffee. That'll buy a cup of coffee, believe it or not. Thank you very much. And we'll put it in our wonderful HOKC mug, which is coming in next week, week and a half, really. Just waiting for the shipment to come in. Bama likes some apps. They do help. Okay, good. I don't want to be jumping around on you guys too much, but just so you have an idea of where we're talking about. So White comes back, goes to the settlement or goes to the trading post. He's making his trades. He mentions the kidnapping or the you know disagreement with the Karankawas to Captain Burnham in the local settlement, the militia leader. He raises a company of 30 men, and they all head down the river. The story gets a little confusing in AJ Souls in the author's recollection of it or the author's account of it because he says they go back and they find the two Mexicans on a yawl. So I don't know if they had their own yawl, but it doesn't sound like they could be on the yawl. I think they found the Mexicans on the shoreline with the rest of the Karankawas. Um, Either way, the volunteer force and White start making their way. Oh, $5 super chat from Marcus Aurelius. Man, thank you guys so much. Very generous early on a Saturday here. Marcus, if you have anything you want me to get out there, I don't see a comment with this one, but let me know. Jake Skywalker says a frontier battalion. Yeah, basically, just a bunch of volunteers because this wasn't uncommon where you had to, go mete out frontier justice, I guess, on behalf of your fellow settlers. And obviously, the Karankawa have their own motivations because it's like their country is being invaded. Um, they're trying to proffer deals and make the best of it that they can. And they are violent. There's accounts of their unaliving many settlers just in this book alone, especially in the 1820s. Texas settlers haven't really come into much contact, if any, with the Comanche yet. And even the landscape of Texas looks a little different. The Comanche haven't solidified their land all the way south yet. So it's mostly Tonkawa and Karankawa that the 1820s settlers are encountering. So for many of them, this is like the scariest tribes they've ever seen in their life. The Karankawa are basically like a fishing, hunting people who live on the coast, relatively tall. They have a pretty complex culture, lots of paint designs and ceremonies and a complex theology. And they're kind of semi-itinerant along this band that they live along this band of coastline that they live along. They'll kind of go up it and down it and kind of migrate within their area depending on the season. But they are a formidable tribe, and they are the nightmare fuel for a lot of early Texas settlers. But the contingent of White and his volunteer companions, 30 guys in total. So we're looking at 32, 33 guys, make their way back up the river, and half of them split off and go across the river and make their way up to where the Karankawa are, kind of sneak along. And then the other half light the fire 10 miles out and let the Karankawa know, like, hey, bros, like, we're on our way, we're coming. And the Karankawa go like, okay, cool, we're about to settle this deal. And the two Mexican prisoners are like, cool, we're about to settle this deal. And then as they approach the Karankawa are like, this is a lot of guys. There's about 15 to 17 guys in this yawl. They near the Karankawa open fire on them, which shocks them to begin with, right? So a melee starts to unfold. Then all of a sudden, more fire opens up on the Karankawa from across the river, and that's kind of discombobulates them entirely. Several losses taken. I was trying to find if there were exact numbers on the losses. Just making sure here. Then, as the fight keeps unfolding, another canoe full of Karankawa come out of seemingly nowhere and come to back up their boys. And a fight continues to unfold here for a number of hours. It doesn't give the exact time frame, but eventually, is common with many native schools of thought in warfare. The Karankawa or almost any native tribe in America is not going to um, unleash attack after attack against an entrenched enemy or an enemy that outnumbers them. They are not in the business of sacrificing numbers to win battles. They don't find it pragmatic. They don't find it doable with their numbers. Most of these tribes are operating with several thousand people, but that's very small compared to the citizenry of Mexico or the United States. So they are not in the business of sacrificing numbers that they don't have. So after this fight unfolds for a number of hours, and it gets a little too hot for the Karankawa, they hop in. Everybody that's left hops in the canoe that their reinforcements came in and heads down, back up the river, too far up the Colorado for their pursuers to catch them. This kind of ends up being the breaking point in relations between the Texians, I guess we could say, but still Mexican citizens, and the Karankawa. It is, I'm trying to find the exact dates here. I'm not finding an exact date for the day the peace treaty was made, but this culminates in a meeting at La Bahia, and a peace treaty is signed between Stephen F. Austin, who the city of Austin is named after today, and the son of Moses Austin, who had started the original settlement. They meet, they sign a peace treaty saying that, I got to bring another map up here. Let's go with this one. Saying that now the Karankawa must not travel east of the San Antonio River, which we can see here. And there's La Bahia where the treaty is signed. So now that means that the Karankawa's homelands are effectively cut in half by about, a rough estimate on my part, y'all let me know what you think, but about 75%. The agreement says you cannot go east of the Colorado River, the San Antonio River. So you can see it relegates them to this small corner from basically the mouth of the San Antonio River at Matagorda Bay all the way down to Corpus Christi, which is kind of, it's southeast Texas today, but it cuts them down to a very small swatch of land, a common thing with treaties. But this is kind of the beginning, not of the end for the Karankawa people, but it's a real blow to their way of life, to their tribal autonomy, and to their ability to sustain themselves. They really counted on being able to move up and down the coast with the seasons, and cutting their land by that much really made life very, very difficult for the Karankawa, and it was only going to get more and more difficult as disease and encroachment progressed. So very, very difficult times ahead for the Karankawa from here. Very difficult times for the settlers ahead, but now they're going to start forming Texas. So this mid 1820s era is often overlooked because there's, I think, not enough Texans in the area yet to call it Texas. So it's in this kind of weird settlement stage, and they're with tribes that a lot of people aren't really familiar with, the Tonkawa, the Karankawa. And a lot of times the battles were, in many respects, just as vicious, but really people's attention seems to be drawn to Texas after the mid or early 1830s. That's when things really start kicking off with the Comanche, and settlement starts to work its way up from Austin's original settlement. I'm going to bring that up again here because I thought it was helpful, just to give everybody an idea of where we're talking about. So things start to expand drastically after the mid to late 1820s. And we go from Austin's colony being relegated to this area here, kind of the southeastern reaches of Texas, all the way up to the hill country to Austin's current location. It was formerly known as Waterloo, and they eventually ended up naming it Austin after Stephen F. Austin, who kind of like worked himself to death in establishing the colonies and Waterloo and all of these colonies coming up the Colorado River. But this all kind of is a kickoff point for that happening. And you can see where the settlement started, where they expanded to in a relatively short order, in less than a decade or so. So the line of settlement goes from San Antonio almost all the way east to kind of around where Houston is today. That's as far as American or Texan settlement has reached, really. especially ever since the massacre at San Saba in the, I believe, 1600s, way up here in Middle Texas. Everything has kind of regressed since then. And now, after the 1820s, it's going to kind of push back out. So we haven't seen that quite yet. All these people are still living right in this area, but within the next 5, 6 years or so, all these people are going to start, most of these people are going to start pushing out to the northwest. So we're just before seeing that, just at the early iterations of Texas history, just before 90% of the Texas history that we talk about. So I thought it'd be a cool topic to delve into since we've been talking a lot about the Karankawa, and it shows how they were severely limited before the 1830s. And so their feet were kind of cut out from underneath them before Texas even really started expanding. And obviously, disease played a massive role in that as well. And they were really the first tribe in Texas, one among the first tribes in Texas to be in contact with Anglo or Mexican settlers, and thus far more vulnerable to their diseases. They really didn't know anything about it until it started to devastate them. But yeah, I thought a valuable story for us all to kind of examine, so we know a little bit more about the precursor era to what we generally talk about here. We talk about the Comanche and the Apache all the time, but really the first settlers of Texas came in from the southeast, and they would have been more fearful and more aware of the Karankawa and the Tonkawa. The Comanche were just kind of like a rumor in a lot of ways. Like, people heard of them, but they were kind of like a, if you've ever heard of Genghis Khan, well, you've heard of Genghis Khan, but the rumor floating around Europe at the time as he was taking over basically all of the steppe of Asia and working his way westward. There was a rumor floating around Europe that there was no actual Genghis Khan. It was a guy named Prester John who was kind of taking back Christendom, but starting from the east and working his way west. And that like wasn't true, but that was the rumor and what a lot of people thought in Europe. And it's kind of the same thing with Texas at the time. People knew of the Comanche, but they were kind of like a rumor. And it was like, well, they can't be that bad. And obviously within the next decade or so, people would find out. Okay. Guys, I think my chat is freezing on me because I'm not able to scroll up on it. Let me see here. I'm going to take this map off, see if this helps at all. There we go. Okay. Bear with me here. I'm rolling through the chats. The French in 1685 established a fort near Matagorda. The Spanish went to siege, but the Karankawas already unalived them. Yeah, that was the first contact that a lot of people had, was the Karankawa. And you see, it's very, very early. And then it's going to be, so it's 1685 I'll have to look the exact date of the San Saba mission up, but it's basically like 1685. Texas kind of starts around that time. Texas starts to be, contact with the Europeans starts, I think, is the most diplomatic way I can phrase it. And then it takes a century and a half before people even move from like modern day Victoria, before a substantial amount of people move from modern day Victoria or maybe modern day Austin and go anywhere west of that. It is like 2 centuries before people are able to go much farther west of modern day Austin. Maybe a century and a half. But either way, a very, very, very long time, simply because you have this wall of Comanche, this figurative and almost literal wall of Comanche. And it's amazing how long American advancement, I guess we could say, was stalled by that. Great piece of history, though, Dan Robertson. We can count on you, man. You know all the minutia. James Holbrook with a $5 super chat, man. Thank you guys very much. Very generous this morning. Thank y'all. James, I don't think I've seen you in here for a minute. I've been looking for you, though. I might be wrong, but I don't think I have. The Karankawa were known as bloodthirsty. Yeah, they were also cannibalistic. Is another part of their lore. Are the Karankawas the ones Cabeza de Vaca lived with? As far as I could tell, yeah, maybe the Tonkawa, but it seemed like they were pretty far down on the coast for a lot of his ordeal. Though they did go pretty far up to Guadalupe, so sometimes I wonder if he was with the Tonkawa, because he talks about being on the Guadalupe and picking pecans. Yes, Deanna, he was horrified by their nature. Oh, so it was the Karankawa, Dan Robertson. I don't know. I've kind of struggled with that. I don't know. And he would have seen several different tribes. I would wager that yes, his initial captivity was with the Karankawa though, because he came ashore. Let's see. This chat is just not scrolling down, guys. I don't know what's that. Tell you what, I'm gonna hit the refresh button here and see if it lets me use the chat because it won't let me scroll down, and we don't want that. All right, should have hopefully that reset it. James Holbrook says it's been a minute, but I catch most of your videos. No, no problem, man. I've just been kind of looking for you. Don, do you mean I'm on the trail of a lost Spanish treasure as well, potentially stored near Austin? Location private for good reason. For good reason. Don't say that too loudly. In between the San Saba mines and San Antonio. Okay. Oh, I've heard of this. I've heard of this. Maybe about a vault for storing silver en route to San Antonio. Very well could be, man. The hill country would be a good place to hide treasure because there's lots of landmarks, but also lots of places to hide stuff. Are there any descendants of the Karankawa today? You already talked about that. Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, if you already talked about that. The Karankawa are still a tribe today. I was looking at their official website. Let's see. There is an official website here. Yeah, karankawas.com. That's a good name. They are having a reconnect meeting. They had a reconnection meeting on Monday, August 25th. So they're still descendants around. Fascinating people, too. They don't get enough credit. I think they really kind of get overlooked in the history of Texas because a lot of their impact happened very early on, a lot of times during the Spanish and Mexican iterations of Texas. Let's see. Are there? Okay, got that. Have you heard about the Comanches sharing similar tactics as Genghis Khan and the Mongols? Yeah, absolutely. They're both steppe warrior tribes, plains warrior tribes. So the Comanche, I don't think were. Well, I can confidently say weren't as organized. Likely weren't as disciplined as the Mongols. The Mongols really coalesced into a corporation of sorts, where the Comanche were far more autonomous and far less structured. But in a way, that kind of makes it more impressive to me because they kind of just more or less ad hoc put together their own empire, or unintentionally almost put together their own empire. They just kept taking land and building wealth, and just because they were a warrior tribe, and when that's what they did. Love how you interact with the chat so much on stream. Yeah, absolutely. That's I'm here for y'all. So I'm not. If I was just talking, it would be boring. Let's see. Out on Lake Corpus Christi, the Boy Scouts had a camp named Karankawa. Elite Super Grunt says, yeah, there's the Karankawa name is still around for sure. And there's a Tonkawa Pass here in Austin. There's their name is still there. It's just like you have to go look for the history. Any books or films on this tribe? The one that I don't have a specific Karankawa book, but to get a good feel for their early conflicts with the settlers, I think Indian Depredations in Texas is a good book. I can't recommend any Karankawa books off the top of my head because I haven't read any personally. I need to. Oh, this is so weird how it's not letting me scroll the chat, you guys. If I am missing your chat for whatever reason, because it won't let me, you guys know how it works. Sometimes it doesn't. It's show business, so sometimes the chat or something isn't working for me. So if I missed something, put it back in the chat. Sorry to make you do that, but I'm limited on the chats that I can see. Let's see. Are there any? Okay, got that. The Karankawa came out of the woodwork when that LPG terminal was announced instantly, as if from nothing. I'm not sure what that means, engineer. What's up, engineer? Good to see you, man. I listened to your marathon on the Comanche raids the other day. Loved every second of it, says Clay Owen. Yeah, thank you very much, Clay Owen. Thanks for checking it out. Are you a wrestler yourself, Clay Owen? You sound like a wrestler. Kind of crazy. I haven't heard of this tribe before. Oh, you haven't heard of them, Evan? Yeah, they're super interesting. That's why I wanted to cover this one. I was perusing Indian Depredations in Texas and saw that story. It's very, very short. It's like a page and a half. So I'm not being obtuse. I'm not being I'm not hiding any detail. My vocabulary is failing me early in the morning, but I'm not hiding any details from y'all. That's just kind of the account they give. They don't give exact locations. They Some of the details in the story are a little jumbled up, but it's a good story. It's a real story. It's just the historical accounts. You know how they go. Sometimes you're like, did you mean this or I mean that? But a very short story and very illustrative of the time period. The Carancawa. Okay, got that. Do you know if the French Foreign Legion ever faced against the natives during France's control of Mexico? Very interesting question. No, I do not. I'm gonna actually write that down. Foreign Legion. That's a good question, man. Tribes. Cool. Never. I've honestly never thought about that. Is their name trademarked? They really ought to file for trademark rights. Karankawa TM. Good question, Space Cowboy. I'm not sure. I appreciate the compliment. I trained BJJ for a few years, says Clay Owen. Went. Always thought dudes. Oh, you've been. Yeah, man. Okay, so you did BJJ for a few years. Okay, okay. Don't underestimate BJJ, man. That's a tough sport. Let's see. You are an excellent history teacher, says James. Man, thank you. My great grandpa was with Austin when they captured Santana. Oh, really? I haven't been in Texas in almost 5 years. I love the country of Texas. It is its own country, depending on who you ask. That's for sure. It's got a wonderful history, though. I think a very unique history. And if, like I said, James, if you like this story at all, you like any stories like this, the link at the top of the chat, that's a great book, Indian Depredations in Texas, contemporary accounts. So they're really, really valuable. Lords of the Plains, says Marcus Aurelius. Yeah, that's Lords of the Southern Plains for sure. The Comanche were kings of the hill country. Yeah, and I mean, you know this as well as I do, Dan Robertson. It was kind of the Tonkawa here in the hill country area before they got eventually pushed out. Let's see. Is it okay? Guys, I don't know why it won't let me scroll. I feel bad. I hope I'm not missing anybody's chats here. Okay, I think I'm caught up. I've never had it happen. I've never had this happen before. Interesting. All right, so that's pretty much the entirety of our story. Just a little teaser for you this morning, a little short one for the coffee chat. If you have any questions on it, I will do my best to answer them. If you have any questions on the Comanche episode, if you have any questions on, let's see what we got coming up here. I forget our next episode. It's in the can too. I've just done so many of them. They're kind of blurring in my mind at the moment. No active trademark as of now, but I'm sure that will be rectified, says engineer. Really? I don't know if you even need an active trademark on your tribal name. That's a good question. What did the Karankawa call the Gulf waters? I'm not sure, honestly. I can show you the Tonkawa Kingdom. I know where their kitchen is, refrigerator, church, corrals, and more. There's an actual Tonkawa Kingdom, Dan Robertson? Or is that like a metaphor? Blackfoot and Lakota were kings of the northern plains, says James Holbrook. Yes, I would agree with that. Blackfoot, Lakota, and then a little bit south, you'd have Cheyenne and Arapaho. It's tough to beat any of those tribes. I'm piecing it together, says Dan Robertson. I'll have a video series soon. Are you making your own channel, Dan Robertson? Or do you have your own channel? Let's see. Dang. Every time we do this, I figure out some new little wrinkle that YouTube has. So like I said, yeah, if you're putting something in the chat, I didn't see it, just put it in there again because I'm only seeing the chats at the very bottom of the page. Let's see here. I think I'm all caught up there. And you know what, guys? Between this evening's show and now, I will do my best to find a good book on the Karankawa themselves. Let's see if I can find anything. Right. I don't want to recommend anything to you guys without vetting it myself first, but it looks like there are some options here. So I'll try to check that out before tonight's stream as well. And assuming that Terry R can make it tonight, we're planning on doing a movie night for the Comancheros. So that'll be 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific tonight. And I'd like to do a little bit more detailed. We might start with a little bit more detailed explanation of who the Comancheros were and what they did. We've talked about that a little bit. So we might make that a little bit more of a preeminent topic in tonight's stream before we actually go on to the movie. Because I think that would help everybody just contextualize what they're seeing, like we say about our episodes and everything. If you watch these little episodes, you'll have a better idea of what you're watching and listening to. And I think it would help all of us to learn about the Comancheros before watching the movie. And obviously, yes, it's an older movie, but I think we undersell the history in them a lot of times. They're working with what they've got. They a lot of times do have an agenda they're trying to get across, but there is a genuine effort being made to preserve the history of the Old West and to um, tell these stories, these often little known stories. A lot of people back then didn't know about Comancheros, so making a movie on them at least brings the topic to the forefront. Let's see. I was looking at Comancheros too. I got to figure out if that was a successful movie at the box office or not, because I think they had like a $3.5 million budget, and then maybe they had a $4 million budget and made 3.5 million at the box office. I don't know. That's not making sense to me. I thought it was a very successful movie. I'm gonna look at that again. A great book, if not the best book, is The Indians of the Frontier, published by the University of Texas, a complete guidebook to the peoples. I think I have that book, but let's Indians of Texas. I'm pretty sure I have that on the bookshelf here somewhere, Dan Robertson. But we trust Dan Robertson and his research material. So, the Indians of Texas, if you are interested in the tribes of Texas, I would recommend that book. But I'll find some more Karankawa specific ones before this evening, too. Have you got any series on gunslingers, says Clay Owens, like Billy the Kid or John Wesley Hardin by chance? I have a couple episodes from, gosh, a year and a half or 2 years ago now on the Blackwater Massacre. Um, gosh, what was the other ones? We have 4 or 5 on Billy the Kid and the Regulators. Yes. And then I just covered our first delving into John Wesley Hardin's story in a short live stream, about 15, 20 minutes long, from 2 weeks ago, the day after Thanksgiving, where I go to the actual location of John Wesley's most famous shootout, where he, in fact, shot the sheriff, but not the deputy. It's in the town square of Comanche. So I went step by step, walked along where he went and where the crime took place, and looked at they actually have a memorial for John Wesley Harding where he committed his crime. And it is the crime that he ended up getting arrested for and serving a nominal life sentence for. I believe he served like 20 years. And then he got out, became a lawyer, and was shot. So live by the sword, perish by the sword. No, dog, we got you. Can't see everyone. No, it's thanks, Marcus. Usually I can, man. I can scroll up and down and look at everybody's comments. So who knows why this is happening. As far as like technical mishaps, though, pretty small. We've had bigger ones before. Let's see. I'm from Wyoming. So, oh, are you really? You're from Wyoming, but live in Tennessee. Okay. I know more about Pawnee. Yeah, we need to do. I've done a good amount of stuff on the Pawnee, all things considered, in my opinion, but we can definitely do more because their war with the Lakota was unbelievable. Massacre Canyon was a really good episode from 6 months ago, maybe longer than that, but Massacre Canyon's a great one. And that happened like the 1870s. The war with the Lakota and the Pawnee. Even the Pawnee eventually went to the U.S. government and was like, listen, dog, listen, you got to keep these Lakota away from us. And it's interesting how Dances with Wolves flipped that script entirely. Like they made the Pawnee the aggressor upon the Lakota, and the Lakota is like defending themselves. It's like, no, it was definitely the opposite. Is John Wesley Harding originally from Alabama? That's one of those details I don't know. I can look it up. I'm on the same page as y'all. It's a matter of, can I look it up quicker than y'all? Let's see. I'm going to bet no, I can't at this point. No, it says Whitewright, Texas, May 26, 1853. And really, he would have been 40. Yeah, he's 42 years old when he was shot in El Paso. Let's see. Did you like the movie? Did you like the Horizon movie? I've never seen the Horizon movie. Let's see. Diana, who is this Terry fella? Did Diana mention it? You're talking about Terry R. He's our regular here. Let's see. You mean the Event Horizon movie, Jake Skywalker? I haven't seen that one. Horizon. I'm trying to think. My movie knowledge is sometimes limited. Like I said once, I don't know if I can say this word, but we're gonna try it. My old wrestling coach told me I had the attention span of a midget. It's like, well, I don't know what that means, but I feel like it's apt. Let's see. Last battle was Yeah, the last battle between the Pawnee and the Lakota was Massacre Canyon. Oh, thanks, man. That was a rough one to write, and I wrote it, and I had to pull out probably 500 words because it was like, well, that's not going to get past the censors. Like YouTube would have dinged me for it, and just for telling the story, it was just so bad that just telling it, you had to kind of cover, the unaliving of the unfortunate younger people and the females of the tribe, all this terrible stuff. And I had to pull out a good little bit of it. If it's a 3,000 word script, I had to probably pull out 500 words from it. Kevin Costner movie named Horizon. I don't think I've ever even heard of that. I'll have to go look though. Kevin Costner does a good job with the westerns though. Dances with Wolves was good in my opinion. Uh, Open Range is super underrated. Open Range was good. Did you know that many of the Texas tribes warriors would sharpen their points with their teeth? I did not know that. Really cool since antler was a common tool for this and tooth of the same material. Oh, okay. So that's how there wasn't stone or flint per se. It's antler. Okay. That kind of makes more sense. Okay. I could see that. He was going to make multiple. It's a fictional settlement called Horizon, and they encounter the Apache. No, I haven't. I'll check it out. Costner. So a lot of his movies, I think, are undersold. Although Waterworld sucked and The Postman sucked. Other than that Tom Petty uh, cameo, which was like, it's pretty cool. But the rest of it, I don't know, not good. My parents came from Trenton, Nebraska. Yeah. James Holbrook, your parents are from Trenton, Nebraska, almost on top of Massacre Canyon. When I looked it up, I remember seeing Trenton on the map, trying to figure out exactly where it happened. Yeah, dude, that's wild. They would use their teeth instead of antler as a tool to sharpen the flint in the field. Really? That makes a lot of sense. I've never heard that, Dan Robertson. That makes a lot of sense. So you're in the field, you don't have time to um, sharpen your arrowheads, and instead of having that little antler tool, if you've ever seen anybody chip flint, they will take a larger rock and bash off the bigger parts of it and shape the rough arrowhead, spearhead, anything like that. And then, so you have this big kind of football looking chunk, and then they keep whittling it down, and then they'll eventually take the point of an antler and chip off the very edges of it and make it kind of serrated and very sharp. Flint is the sharpest, I believe, the sharpest material in the world. And so, yeah, but they would use their teeth in the field. That kind of makes sense, man. That's savage. I mean that in the most, I mean that in the most complimentary of terms. That's what I would say to my teammates after a good match or something. Thank you, sir. Getting a few books. Right on, man. Can't get too many. I like these books too. I beat this point into the ground, but I like the books that have short chapters and short stories. I think for the casual history fan, those are the best. You can just sit down and pick a story out. Now, Pekka Hämäläinen's Comanche Empire is the opposite end of that spectrum, where it's super duper detailed and that's thick academic texts. But if you're interested in that, also highly recommend that. Let's see. Was Shirt or Flint in Texas? I don't know. I thought Flint. I know, like up where my family's at, it's Flint. In this area, I'm not a geologist for sure, man. I barely wake up in the morning, so you might know more about the geology of the particular area than I do, Dan Robertson. My husband used to make arrowheads, and he was good at it, but used antler, not teeth. Well, and Bama, I think what Dan Robertson's getting at is that it was a measure to use in the field, like on the run or uh, in the midst of a hunt, in the midst of a battle, while traveling, etc., where you don't have time to actually sit down and use the antler. Yes, Texas and its own type of chert. Okay. Well, Texas has flint, though, right? It's not just chert. I don't even look like I'm a history story guy, so I don't even know the difference between chert and flint, to be honest with you. I'm sure that doesn't shock anybody, but it's true. Dan, I think most people use flint and chert interchangeably. Okay, that would make sense to me because I was always under the impression that, at least where my family's place is up in Central Texas, that it was flint arrowheads that they were finding. I never found one, but my grandpa has a shoebox full. Bama says her husband was never in battle, fortunately. Yeah, that's probably for the best. But if he had to be, he would have been ready because he would have had plenty of arrowheads. Obsidian is sharper than flint, but both are sharp. Oh, you know what? I'm mixing that up. Again, I'm not a geologist, so no surprise. But I was watching, doing some research on the Aztec battles and Aztec intertribal wars and the Flower Wars, and they had those. It's essentially a sword, right? But it's a big wooden plank with a handle on it, and then it has edges of sharpened obsidian, about little razors of obsidian all the way around it. And they were saying obsidian, that's right, is the sharpest material. It scared the Texas settlers to witness the warriors biting the points to refine them. Yeah, it would scare me too. It would scare me too. And I would probably go back and be like, listen, guys, we gotta get out of here. These people are biting their arrowheads. All right. Let's see. Chert is a form of flint, says Pamela. Hello, Pamela. I don't know if is this your first time here, Pamela? If it's not, excuse me, but I'm trying to keep track of names. I want to say hello to everybody that comes on in here. Thank you for that, though, because we'd be here all day if I had to look that up. The Edwards Formation is the largest natural deposit of flint in the world. And so happens Texas has some of the most ancient sites in all of the Americas. Is that the Edwards Plateau, James Skywalker? Which is That would be northwest of Austin here in Central Texas. I don't mean to be like Austin centric. It's just like in the middle of Texas, so it gives a good uh, azimuth, good point, good point on the map for people to think from. Gosh, my vocabulary is failing me early in the morning. I get it. I get it. Oh, it's almost noon in Texas. Well, you guys, you know what? Early in the morning is a relative term. I feel attacked. Just kidding. The Galt site displays pre-Clovis peoples in Texas up to 20,000 years ago. Yes, as far as I know, and I've actually heard of several local researchers on the Guadalupe River have found either commensurately or similarly old sites from around that time period along the Guadalupe River, um, even around Seguin. I was talking to a local researcher there, and they found, I think it's one of the most consistently inhabited areas in North America. Because on the Guadalupe, any of those places, the Guadalupe River, any of the hill country, it's like, well, the entire ecosystem there would give you everything you need to survive. So why wouldn't people settle there? My land sits directly over the Edwards Aquifer, says Pamela. Wow, beautiful country out there, though. Or not though. I think it's beautiful country out there as well. You can find arrowheads by the dozen around here, especially in a plowed field after rain, says Bama Deanna. Yeah, my grandpa was a peanut farmer in Texas, and he found tons of arrowheads when he was out plowing the field. I've literally never found one. James Holbrook, how do I become a member of this channel? If you click on the, let's see, what's the easiest way to do it from the chat? You can, I should know that, but on any of the rest of our videos, there's a blue join button below the video. I know that. And you just click on that and you can pick your membership level. I set the number one as the lowest one. YouTube wouldn't let me set the price any lower, but it's $2 a month, I think. And then you'll get early episodes, early access to everything. I'm trying to do members only live chats. I'm trying to give y'all like your money's worth, but I've asked a couple times. I was like, do you guys want members only live chats? And everyone's like, no, leave it for the people. So I respect that. But if y'all can think of other member benefits that you'd like, let me know, because I'm trying to think of stuff. And we have merch coming too. We want to do like, it depends on what YouTube lets me do, but I'd like to do like giveaways for the merch, maybe like drawings or something. Because we got hats, t-shirts, and mugs coming that I think are cool. I have 2 wells. You have 2 wells, Pamela Mel, waiting for Texas to start tagging private wells with usage meters like California did. Oh, God forbid. God forbid. On our ranch in California, that's what we're subject to. Sucks. So hopefully that's not coming. A $sign besides the chat. Is there a $sign besides the chat? Guys, I know I should be able to point you in the right direction for becoming a member. There's a lot of stuff to learn on my end too with YouTube. Gosh, I think, James, you'd have to go. Certainly, if you go to the channel homepage, they'll have a join button. I'm looking for one now, and especially this is when my screen is freezing up. If nothing else, because we'd love to have you, and I want to make sure you get early access to everything. Check out the homepage of the channel. If you don't see it there, email me at history@the okcorral.com, and I'll make sure you get hooked up. I'm going to stop this watch from beeping today, guys. Did you know that Tlaxcalteca arrived, allied to the Spanish, were sent to help fight against the Japanese samurai in the Philippines and won? No, I didn't know that. I did not know that at all. I'll write that down. And that's my best attempt at pronouncing that name. Let's see. How can they do that? Says Bamadiana, referring to Pamela as well. Hopefully they won't. Hopefully they won't. Depends on how many Californians keep pouring in here. Excuse me. Where's Sweeney? The chat has been calm. I know, man. I've been looking for Nick Sweeney. Maybe he had a long night last night. Yeah. Okay. So is there a join button below the video, guys? Because if there is, you would just click on that. But my screen, it won't let me go up or down. I kind of just have the screen in front of me and like a frozen live chat to the right. Hit join and $2.99 per month comes up. Okay. Okay. So there should be a join button below the video. It's the first time someone's asked this. And like, of course, it's when my screen's frozen and I can't give you good directions. Excuse me. How would they charge for all the produced water coming out of oil wells? They'll find a way. They'll find a way. Let's see. Definitely merch, says James Holbrook. Yeah, we got merch coming your way. And tonight, I'm going to figure out how to share the t-shirt designs. I got 2 t-shirt designs that I can share and one that isn't done yet, but I think that might be the most popular one, if I'm guessing. I think you have to subscribe, then a join button shows up. Okay, so click the subscribe button, and then you should see a join button. James, you got it. You got it. Thanks, man. Thanks. Sorry we couldn't give you more concise directions. Welcome to the family, though, James Holbrook. Glad to have you, man. And I'm thinking maybe I can like stick around after night streams and something like that to do members only after chats or something. Because I get it. I want everybody to have access to everything, but I also want members to get their money's worth. Let's see. Glad to have you, man. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. Let's see. Sweeney was still up at 3 a.m. CST. Well, so was I, but I didn't see him. Let's see. Yeah, if you have also any more questions on Indian depredations in Texas, if you have any questions on the little-known battles of the Comanche. Next, what do we have up next? I have so many in the can. Oh, Mountain Man Massacres. Massacres of Mountain Man History, which is going to be a rough one, guys. That should be coming up. Maybe I can get it out tomorrow. I'm going to shoot to get it out tomorrow, and we'll see what happens today. Depends on what we need to edit. Let's see. James getting a lot of support, man. Glad you made it. Glad you joined the club. You'll have to get this. We have a special tattoo that you have to get. I'm just kidding. We are remodeling our museum in Waco. They didn't want to include anything about Comanche warfare and raiding because they don't want to make them sound mean. Jake Skywalker says, bro, isn't that, and I think it's disrespectful to the people too, to the tribe. It's like, do you not understand that this tribe held Western settlement at bay for 400 years? Like they deserve their credit here. Like, and it's, I think just paints them in an I think that paints them in an unfair light and mutes and muddles the very important history of a very important state in our country. I watched The Treasure of Sierra Madre last night, free on YouTube. Treasure of Sierra Madre. Is that a movie? I feel like I've seen it before. Oh, Pamela joined level 1 supporter. Thank you so much, Pamela. That's awesome. We're gradually building our own HOKC nation here. So the more, the better. And like I said, if you guys think of anything that you would like to add to membership benefits, let me know. We're brainstorming a lot of things. I was in some of the meetings and said we should include a section about Matilda Lockhart. Yeah, you would. How could you honestly tell the story of the area without telling her account? You know, even if you wanted to err away from Mary Maverick's account of her nose being mutilated, etc. Because I'll even say, okay, that's a contentious point. Let's say that didn't happen and there were no mutilations of any kind, which is like probably not. But let's say that that did happen. You still need to include the story of her abduction and her return, or else what impetus can you show for the council house fight? There, it would be like, well, a fight just broke out. It's like it didn't just break out. There was a real genesis to that, a real reason behind that. And the Comanche had taken her in retribution for Texan attacks. So, like, yeah, I think that's really unfortunate and irresponsible, honestly, irresponsible of any museum to do that. I hate to get on here and just, sling mud, but it's true. Pamela joined. Pamela joined. We got James Holbrook in. We're stacking up the personnel, guys. Let's see. James back at you. Oh, yeah, absolutely. See, we get so much interaction in the chat now. It's so great. Humphrey Bogart is in gold dust that blew away like dandelions. Oh, Humphrey Bogart is in Treasures of the Sierra Madre. Okay. That's not the movie I was thinking of. Treasures, Sierra. It's free on YouTube too, right? That might be a, excuse me, guys. Gosh, that might be a, excuse me, might be a good movie night movie. It's the coffee that gets me. You crack me up, says Happy Cappy. You talking about me? Hopefully it's cracking you up in a good way. You want people laughing with you, not at you. But more importantly, you want people laughing. So every time anyone talks about torture in modern time, I don't even know if I could say, isn't that pain in the butt? I don't know if I can even say that word on the live stream. I tell them to wake me up when they discuss the Comanche. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. The Apache too. Honestly, I think the Apache were more deliberate and measured in their, or deliberate and, deliberate's the best adjective I got right now, guys. Tonight I'll have better ones for you. But very deliberate, very calculating in their methods for that. You could always sell hot sauce, says James Holbrook. I guess that could work. HOKC hot sauce. I'd have to make it really hot. I got a spice tolerance, guys. Let's see. Honey. Is there a honey in here? Are you talking to me, Happy Cappy? Are you calling me honey or is there a honey in there? My name is Brandon. Just wondering. So if you're not calling me honey, totally understandable. You could always sell. Okay, got that. I might be willing to try Turkish coffee. Oh, you can't go wrong with Turkish. Got interrupted, guys. Another hiccup. Well, it's noon. Maybe I got a lot of my neighbors online here. Happy Cappy says, yes, you're talking to me. Okay, yeah. My name's Brandon. Good to meet y'all. You look like a Brandon, says Bamadiana. I don't know how to take that. Though over the last couple years, I've seen flags everywhere that says, let's go, Brandon. So I felt very encouraged, I was like, yeah, all right, maybe they're rooting for me. Josh McAllister, what's up, man? What's up, dude? Yours is one of my top 3 YouTube channels. Man, thank you very much. You do an exceptionally fantastic job all the way across the board. Man, thank you, Josh. That means a lot, dude. Seriously, that's you never know if you're doing a good job. You're always just doing your best. So that means a lot. K-cups are convenient, says Happy Cappy. K-cups are convenient, but Turkish coffee is going to be way better quality. I do cowboy coffee, French press. Let's see. But K-cups, I mean, they are convenient. Bamadiana says it wasn't an insult. I know, I'm just playing with you, Bamadiana. But I don't know. I guess it's a good first name because it's hard to make fun of. Like if your first name is Gary, it's easy to make fun of, or stuff like that. But Brandon, it doesn't rhyme very well, so I've lucked out with that. Dan Robertson says I've also located a Kiowa Sundance Peak in the Balcones, close to Comanche Peak. This is the 4th peak to the west from Comanche Peak. Number 4 was their whole. Really? I didn't know that. Comanche Peak, dude. Where's Comanche Peak again? Is that San Antonio or Austin? Comanche Peak. Can y'all hear that fly going crazy? A fly flew in here. Just one fly by himself. He's going nuts. Sounds like a chainsaw back there. David. Nothing rhymes with David either. Good point, man. That's good. I want to name my kids with. I don't have kids yet, but in the future, plan to name them with unrhymable names, invincible names that cannot be made fun of. You kind of look like Charles Gatewood. Artemio. Oh man, when people tell me I look like somebody, I'm always like, oh, that guy. Let's see. I will look that up though and see if I agree. Who said that? Artemio. I'll look it up, man. You are the hostess with the mostest, Brandon. Thank you, Happy Cappy. Thank you, thank you. Maybe I'm the host with the most, but I mean, I'll take either one. I'll take either compliment. I would definitely buy merch, says James Skywalker. Cool, man. It's I didn't think there was any desire amongst our people for merch, but a lot of people have been really into it. Like, I think this is seriously like a cool mug. We're redoing the prototype. I almost said stereotype. We're redoing the prototype so the logo is on each side. But honestly, I wouldn't put something out there that wasn't really good and we hadn't checked out ourselves. So cool mug, cool hat, cool shirts. They're like classic rock tour t-shirts. So I think that'd be cool stuff. I think you guys will like it. I'm glad people are interested. Again, you never know until people say something. Show signs of a circular sun dance. I mean, yeah, that'd be legit, Dan Robertson, because they're the only tribe in this area that would be having a sun dance anytime before the 1870s. And really in the 1870s, the Pennateca wouldn't have been in the hill country that much. So it would likely be the Kiowa, right? So refreshing to find another human composed video. Hope no AI steals your likeness. We'll see. Hopefully not, though. AI narration will never sound the same as human. Yeah, you can suss it out pretty quickly. Name your kids Orange. Maybe. Yeah, it's tough to rhyme with anything. Gatewood helped capture Geronimo. All right, well, we got to look up Charles Gatewood. I should know who Charles Gatewood is, but when you just do this all day, it's like you kind of mix some people up. Gatewood. Let's see. You know what, dude? I can't argue that. That's pretty funny. What do y'all think here? I mean, he doesn't not look like me. He has a better haircut right now, but let's see what you guys think. Go ahead and have your grandchildren first. Just saying. Maybe. My parents might have taken you up on that. Magic Keycast, what's up, man? Mugs and maybe shirts with historical sayings, dates would be cool. Yeah, I think you're gonna like these Magic Keycasts. They are they'll have, say, Quanah Parker on the front, right? And this kind of think like a Rolling Stones 1973 tour T-shirt, right? So Quanah Parker, and on the back it'll say like Quanah Parker under him, on the front, and on the back it has a tour schedule. Like it'll say name, or say the name of the place and the date, but instead of tour dates, there are his battle dates. So it'll say like the Battle of Adobe Walls, in 1874, I believe. But it goes down, lists all his tour dates and lists all his battle dates. And we have one for Jack Hayes too. I think it's cool. I wouldn't put it out if I wouldn't wear it, and I think it looks cool. Maybe make your HOKC logo like a cattle brand. Oh, that's a good idea. And we have a HOKC logo shirt coming too. That's like a The Who t-shirt where it's like a circle with HOKC on the front. And on the back, it says home of history's greatest shootouts and showdowns. Make your AK. Let's see. Space Cowboy. Name your kids Orange. Yes, we will be going for that. Off topic, did you watch GFR? Not yet, Bama Deanna, but actually tell me the name of the song again, because I was scrolling through Grand Funk Railroad last night before 2 nights ago before the show, and I forgot the name of the song you were telling me to look up, because I listen to GFR pretty darn frequently, more frequently than most, I would say. Magic Keycast is very cool. I dig it. Thanks, man. I think they'll be cool shirts. We'll be sure to get you one. Grandkids rock. My parents love their grandkids. That's for sure. My nephews are they're a blast. They're fun. Gatewood definitely resembles you a lot. I'll take it though. He looks like a cool guy. Looks good look to him. Got some swag. I need to get one of those. Is that a West Point shirt? Let's see. I thought you were AI for a bit because all right, Artemio. That's the whole reason I started the live streams, man, because people kept calling me AI several times a day. And they'd say, I'm not watching this anymore because this is AI. And I'd be like, no, I'm a person. And they wouldn't believe me. So it's like, I'm going to put my face on here so that people know I'm not AI. Inside looking out. Cool. Live. Inside looking out. I will check that out today because I was trying to think of it. And I was listening to Are You Ready? What else? Locomotion, obviously. Foot stomping music is when I was listening to foot stomping music like over and over. Love that song. Inside Looking Out Live, though. Yeah, what a great live band, too. I mean, who's going to beat them in the early 70s? Am I getting like a sound effect here? I don't know if my computer's making a noise. That wouldn't be great, but yes, he is a cadet in uniform. Good friend of mine graduated from West Point. I always tell him, like, dude, I don't think I could do that. And he says, well, they wouldn't accept you anyways because you have epilepsy. And I'd say, I know, but still, no, I'm just kidding. But he's a tough guy. And I always say, like, man, I don't think I've got what it takes to go through 4 years of that. Love your recorded videos. Oh, dude, the that's another point I'm trying to make a couple times. The live streams do not at all in any way replace the normal episodes. So the normal episodes are on their normal release schedule. These are just supplementary, uh, supplementary content for people that want to come watch it. But the release schedule, our bread and butter of the channel, remains exactly the same. I wouldn't know what to do with myself if I wasn't writing and recording these episodes. Huh. I don't know. Like the computer is just like making not a noise you want to hear, I would say. That's not it. Weird, guys. I don't know what that is. Sean Hannity once said, Elite Super Grunt says, Sean Hannity once said, F it, we do it live. Wasn't that Bill O'Reilly? Because I've mentioned that on the stream before. And I was like, maybe that's not the maybe, yeah, that was Bill O'Reilly, says Space Cowboy. I'm like, listen, I'm not vouching for everything Bill O'Reilly says or whatever, right? But I get his point in that if you've ever done a live stream or live entertainment of any kind, you get what he's saying. You get that level of frustration where he's just like, F it, let's do it live. And it's like, I get it, bro. I get it. 1826 West Point was the eggnog riot. Yeah, December 22nd. That was a wild, wild deal. Wouldn't that have been when Lee, Grant et al. Were there? Let's see. Definitely West Point. Got that. Bless ups, HOKC. What's up, Mojo? I've been waiting to see you, man. Good to see you, dude. I was thinking about you earlier before we started. Wondering if you're going to be here today. You don't know why the on YouTube is there. Let me see. Oh, maybe if he parted his hair like Gatewood. I don't know. I don't know if I can do that live. I do need to get one of those jackets, so that's pretty swaggy. I've been to Geronimo's grave in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, says Pamela Amel. Is that right? Still and spooky near a creek with the whirring of locusts. Yeah, that'd be pretty wild. And you're like, wow, this is what he would have seen if he was here. Geronimo starring Wes Studi. Yeah, it's a great movie. I believe that has Matt Damon in it as well, right? Matt Damon. You should do a Ronald S. McKenzie stream. Ranald S. McKenzie stream. Yeah, I thought about that. That's definitely on the docket. I would like to cover how his tragic demise and the tragic later years of his life, because he went from being the next, not even the next Custer. He was a superstar. He was the man for the Army. He was like an up and comer, maybe the up and comer. And then within a number of years, just a couple of years, he had deteriorated and ended up in a sanitarium on Long Island and passed away there. And people will posit that it was everything from syphilis, which I don't buy, PTSD, which I would buy, head injuries, which I would buy. He suffered several concussions just on the during the Red River campaign. So I would like to find out more about what happened, but it's a fascinating and just tragic story. McKenzie was first in West Point. Yeah, like a superstar, Artemia, as you well know. Matt Damon is in it. I forgot his character's name though. It's a good movie though. I've watched that movie. I remember being a little kid when that came out, and I went and got it at Blockbuster and watched it to my parents' dismay over and over and over. And that was really before we knew what the spectrum was, you know. So they were like, "What's this kid's deal?" Let's see. How did Geronimo become a battle cry for the U.S. Army paratroopers? I've heard that story before, but I can't recall, and I don't want to misinform you live. So That was a real thing, though, and you'd see the paratroopers on D-Day cutting their hair into mohawks and putting on war paint. There was a real reverence, even during the time of the Indian Wars, there was a real reverence for, the opposing tribes, I guess we could say. Maybe even like a bit of a fetishization in some ways, which sounds like a I mean that like in the literal term. Be sure it is the GFR video from 1969. Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna like Bama I'm not gonna watch no disrespect to Farner or the boys or anything, but I'm not gonna watch like the 1995 version of it. 1969. That's when they were kicking too. They were just kicking. I would never want to follow Grand Funk Railroad. I somewhat know Geronimo got his name. Trying to think of how he got it. I'd have to go look it up again. Like some of those things, like I think I know, but if I say it in front of a live stream full of people, I'm gonna look really dumb. And I don't need to look any dumber than I already do, guys. I don't think they were born yet in 1826. Josh McCullough, Lee and Grant were for sure, because they were in the. It may have been the 1830s before they actually. No, they would have been. That would have been the 1840s. That. So yeah, they would have been. That's a good point. They would have been very young in 1826. How did I miss that up? 1820. Yeah, dude, totally. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's early. And sometimes you say it's just like anything else. When you talk about history all day, you will eventually say something wrong. Good point though. I'm bagging what you're mowing. All right. McKenzie reminds me that you should do a video on the Battle of Wolf Mountains in 76. Oh yeah, that's right. He attacked the Northern Cheyenne because he didn't just stop in Texas. He was sent up north directly after the Red River War. Let me write that down again. Wolf Mountain. And I have read about Wolf Mountain, but yes, I will have to do more research to do a credible live stream on it, but very cool. It's such a fascinating character. And I kind of overlooked him. Let me take my doppelganger off here. I kind of overlooked him because, I don't know. I just thought for a while, especially as a younger guy, I thought, well, he unalived all those horses. That guy must have been kind of nuts. And it's like, well, no, did what he had to do. It's unfortunate, but he was in fact like a brilliant commander. He was the apple of the Army's eye for a long time, and then tragically just deteriorated super fast. And it's such a mystery as to exactly why. Off topic, but do you list your sources for information in this description of the videos? I try to. A lot of times they're just from the same Indian depredations in Texas or same books. And sometimes, honestly, like things get moving so fast. There's been episodes where I forget to. I need to go back and link the book. But generally, it's Empire of the Summer Moon, early settlers and Indian fighters in Southwest Texas, Comanche Empire. I'll list a bunch of books on a list. But generally, most of the videos, yes, should have the sources linked in the description. My 4-time great-grandfather, George Tucker, fought with Lighthouse Harry Lee. Oh, wow. You guys know so much about your genealogy. James Holbrook with $10 super chat. Wow, thank you, man. You're so generous this morning. I couldn't help myself. While I'm spending money, I thought I would show you my appreciation for you and your videos. Man, thank you so much. That's greatly appreciated. Truly. Like I know everybody's money is hard earned, so anytime you guys chip in, I honestly appreciate it. So thank you so much, man. Thank you for watching. I'm blown away by how many people watch and how much you guys participate, how much y'all know. You can see even in this live chat, people know way more than I do about Flint and the McKenzie's wars to the north and Kiowa Sundance areas. Like I learn a lot here too. Engineer said GFR's Connie Hamzy was my generation's Bonnie Blue. What? Connie Hamzy? What is going on there, engineer? I've never heard of this. Connie Hamzy. I think Bonnie Blue got arrested too. You know what I mean? About time. In some pictures, McKenzie does look crazy, and you can see the things he saw in his eyes. I mean, like, I would kind of tacitly agree with you. We obviously can't prove that. He saw a lot of horrible things. He was in a lot of horrible combat, had a lot of significant head injuries. And then maybe there's a genetic component. I don't know. It's I just want the only thing I would err away from is the STI explanation, because it's just like That's a reach, man. I mean, it's not impossible, but that's a reach. And I mean, surely that's what happened to like Al Capone, right? I believe his syphilis just turned his brain into mush. But uh, to err towards that when this seems like more of a classic PTSD um, mental illness case, I think it's a disservice to the truth of the story. Let's see. He used Native scouts very much, had Lakota, Cheyenne, Arapaho, Shoshone, Pawnee. I think even some Bannocks or Utes. Yeah, they did the same thing at the and in Palo Duro Canyon. They would have never found the Comanches without their Tonkawa scouts. By and large, like none of these army forces would have been able to find their opponents, be that Lakota, Cheyenne, Comanche, etc., without the help of their native scouts. It would have just maybe not been impossible, but it would have taken many years and would have just changed the entire nature of the conflict. I am writing a book on Confederate General George Debrell, but I like all history, James Holbrook says. Have you mentioned that before, James Holbrook? I feel like we've talked about that before. Very cool, though. Writing a book on something is a very, especially a not a more specific topic like that and a more specific person takes a lot of research, a lot of work that can go underestimated. I get it. It's an endeavor, but it's an endeavor of love, and these are stories that are important to tell. Little Wolf was in the thick of the fighting the whole time, going back and forth, covering women and children as they escaped, and he got shot 5 times in that fight. So brutal, so brutal. And a lot of these conflicts, they weren't like pitched battles that happened on a battlefield. They happened at or near tribes' villages, like in direct proximity to the women, children, elderly, etc. Grant regarded McKenzie as one of the most promising young officers in the army. Artemio says, "Yep, he was a superstar. It would be, I mean, akin to like a first round draft pick, a blue chip prospect. All of a sudden, just you know, having some kind of neurological or psychological episode and not only leaving the NFL, but passing away the next year. Like it is just so rapid. So it wasn't like it wasn't a 10-year devolution, I guess. It was within 5 years. It was very, very rapid. And he was from a well-off, or no, at least middle-class military family who at least would have presumably had the means to help him out. But there was nothing they could do, apparently. And he seemed just more and more detached from reality. So I hate to even posit a guess on the cause, other than my hunch is it's psychological. I need to look into McKenzie's genealogy. Yeah, I think he has a pretty um accomplished lineage or formidable lineage, I guess, of military service. Let's see. Something that is not covered is the Cheyenne going back from Oklahoma with Little Wolf and Dull Knife. We've covered Little Wolf and Dull Knife a little bit. I believe they had a conflict with the Comanche at one point. Let me see if I can. I'm going to put down Dull Knife here just so I can delve back into it. But I know we've done at least 1 or 2 episodes on Dull Knife and Lone Wolf. I'm pretty sure we did their battle with the Comanche in Oklahoma, if I have that memory serves. Bama Deanna says, probably Scots Irish. Yes, probably. Let's see. I'd say the Pawnee Battalion under the North Brothers. I'm not sure what that means. Under the North. I'll have to. I'm not sure, Josh. I'll look that. I'm not. Are you saying the Shawnee were under the North Brothers? I mean, the Shawnee that the Pawnee were serving under the North Brothers. That's unfamiliar to me, so I'll look that up. I've almost got like a page of notes here. North Brothers, Pawnee, 1878. All right. All right. Let's see if I'm missing anybody else here. And we're almost at an hour and a half, so we'll start wrapping it up here in a minute so I can get ready for tonight's show and get the next episode out. Oh, we got 30-ish people in the chat and 20 likes, guys. So get the likes up. Hit the like button. That really seriously helps the stream so much. We've seen it grow ever since really pushing the like button. So if you want to grow the stream, help us out and hit the like button. Share the stream. With anybody you know, if you're even peripherally interested in history or Texas history, I think you'll like this stream. Okay, I got that written down, Josh McAllister, the Luther brothers. Didn't the Pawnee fight in Comanche wars? I don't want to say no, but I'd have to, you know, delve the dark corners of my memory for that one. Because the Pawnee are quite a bit north, up in the Nebraska area. The Tonkawa were getting hit so hard by the Comanches they sought help amongst the Texans, just like the Apache took refuge from the Spanish. Exactly, yes. The Tonkawa were even seeking refuge from the Spanish. The Apache were coming in and seeking. You said that. The Pawnee had sought refuge from the American government by just saying, or in saying that the Lakota were just overrunning them, and they were like, "Listen, we need you guys' help because we're going to get literally wiped out." That they had no qualms about wiping out an entire tribe. The Pawnee were their own unit, 1865 to 1867. Cool. I wrote that down. I got the Pawnee unit and the brothers, 1878, 1877, 1878. So I'll check that out when the stream's over. In my mind, still on the topic. Guys, like I usually have half a page or so of notes and like from the stream, and like now I got a full page of stuff in my chicken scratch handwriting. Let's see, okay, got that. The Tonkawa were the scout of choice for the Texas frontier. Yep, that's who McKenzie was using. They had plenty of motivation to go track down the Comanche. The Tonkawa did, and they were good at it. Jack Hayes had a pretty tight relationship with. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name right now. Oh, a Tonkawa chief though. He was tight with him. They went into several battles together. At one point, at one time, the government was paying for Apache scalps. Yep. And at one time, I mean, the Lakota had worked with the U.S. government. The Comanche never really did, but it was a very fluid environment over the course of a century or so. Very fluid. Like what people, I think today we just understand it as this tribe was always at odds with the American government or the Spanish or um, you know, uh, on and on, and the Mexicans, etc. But it was very, 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 very fluid. Flacco, Chief Flacco was the name I was looking for. Oh, he was a Lipan chief. Okay. Oh, no, I'm misremembering. Yeah, Chief Flacco was a Lipan chief, and his son ended up getting murdered in Seguin as an unsolved murder. You see the Crow warrior who earned 4 war chief tasks in World War II. He touched alive. Oh, you know what? I watched a video of this not terribly long ago, but and I just know of that. I don't know of that in any detail, Dan Robertson. Artemio Flacco. Yeah. I'm my bad on that one. Flacco was a Lipan chief. He was a Lipan chief. But the Rangers did use the Tonkawa to a good degree, as did the Army. Let's see. That's awesome. Okay, got that. Imagine being the recipient of his 2 points. No, thank you. Yeah, no, thank you. And there was I believe it was a Canadian native guy who had won Canada's Medal of Honor. It might be an American too. There's a lot of World War One history that swirls around in my brain too fast for me to pick one particular fact out, though. Let's see. It was Joe Medicine Crow was the guy's name from World War II. Okay. Imagine being charged, slapped, and disarmed by a Crow warrior in 1940. Yeah, that'd be rough, man. It'd leave you with a lot to think about. You'd probably just be sitting there going like, "What?" Like weeks later, you'd be like, "But what happened?" He passed a few years ago. Really? Wow. Lived a long life. Yeah, honestly, this is what I guess I just study so much about mid 19th century old west history that yeah, sometimes my like World War 1, World War 2 history gets a little mixed up. Let's see. You know the crow. Okay, we got that. I think I've got caught up on the chat here. And again, thank you all for all the super chats. That's awesome. What an interactive Saturday morning. All right. So I'm going to start wrapping this up so I can get the rest of the stuff for today done. Anybody have any other questions about that I'll answer to the best of my ability about the Karankawa? If you have any World War II questions, just put them in the chat. The chat will take care of them. No, I'm kidding. I'll do my best to answer those. Anything on Mountain Men Massacres? That's going to be our next episode. Any questions on, trying to think, on anything related to our topics, let me know. Get them in now or hold your peace till this evening. And Artemio, I've been working on the most powerful tribes in each region question. I might be able to answer that tonight. I've been taking my time on it. I'm trying to do a thorough job. The name Derek, a tribe is a tribe. Tribalism is what were we saying? What's the difference between a tribe or a cartel? Well, I would wager their intentions and purposes. A cartel would be um, based around business solely, right? Maybe illicit business. I don't know if that's required. I think that illicit part of, I think the illicit descriptor is a necessary one to call it a cartel, but I think you would say a cartel is based around business and profit, and a tribe is based around culture and tradition. I love the scene in Inglorious Bastards where they're playing that game, the conversation that demonstrates how highly educated the Germans of World War II were on American history. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I think a lot of Europeans had, again, kind of fetishized American Old West history, and that's why the Wild West show was so popular over there. I'm sure. Was it Teddy Roosevelt that Quanah would take hunting? Yeah, he had Teddy Roosevelt over for dinner at Star House too. I believe him and Teddy Roosevelt went on a wolf hunt. It was either Quanah and Roosevelt or Quanah and Geronimo, but I'm pretty sure it was Quanah and Roosevelt that went on a wolf hunt. I'm sure you have been to Oklahoma. Only like for 5 minutes, man. I need to go back. I was traveling from Tulsa to Oklahoma City, driving in my Pontiac, just about to lose my mind. Just kidding. I was traveling from Tulsa to Oklahoma City. I went through Pawnee Reservation. It wasn't that great. It was pitiable. Oh, that sucks, man. I know that's probably one of the probably maybe the most underserved community in America which I understand they have reservations, but avocado cartel. That's a real thing. Yeah, Space Cowboy. I mean, a lot of cartels, a lot of the avocado industry is controlled by cartels. Let's see. I think I'm caught up, guys. All right. So one more shot. Any questions, comments, let me know. And then we'll call it a morning and I'll get back to the grindstone. Hopefully y'all can take the morning off, the afternoon off at this point. Did anybody get my Tulsa time reference to James Holbrook? Living on Tulsa time. All right. So we'll start wrapping it up here. Artemio, man, thanks for stopping by. Good to see everybody. Y'all come back this evening. We'll do another stream at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific tonight. Assuming that Terry R., who is our benefactor for movie night, is going to be able to make it, we will be watching Comancheros and doing a little bit of a mini lecture on the Comancheros culture and history. Arizona Boy says, I'll see y'all later. Have a good time. Good day. Thanks, Arizona Boy. Good seeing you, man. Great job on the channel so far, dude. Hit me up if you need anything else. Yeah. Before we get out of here, y'all are probably heading out. Yeah. I'll link it tonight, but go check out Arizona Boy's channel. Arizona Boy. What's the name of it again so I can pimp it out? Sorry, I just got too much going on. I don't want to say the wrong name. Appreciate you, brother. God bless the trail you take. You too, Dan Robertson. Stay safe out there today. Let's see. Thank you, sir. It's called Echoes of Us. Echoes of Us, man. I'm sorry. I burned my brain out during this live stream. Echoes of Us. Go check it out on YouTube. You can see my brain slowing down now. So go check it out. Excellent channel. Great start. He's doing better than me when I first started. Let's see. So I think we're caught up. Bye. Later, says Billy Bob. Later, dude. Later, Evan. Later, Dan. Later, Artemio. Happy Cappy. We'll see you this evening. Josh McAllister, thanks for stopping by, man. Y'all come back this evening. Reminisce of Mini Annie Fagan Teal was a Karankawa book. All right, let me write that down real quick. Teal, just before I get out of here. I'll bring a couple recommendations back for y'all tonight too. Thanks, engineer. Appreciate that, man. All right, so James, Billy Bob, engineer, Josh, we'll be seeing you this evening. Hopefully, y'all have a good day, man. Enjoy your Saturday, and we'll see you this evening. All right, God bless. Have a good day.